what is up? Nordine here. I thought today I'll talk a little bit about how to actually start as a mountaineer. How can you become a mountaineer? Because a lot of people ask me, how can you even start to go into mountaineering? How can you go on your first mountain? I have no experience at all. I don't know if I'm strong enough, I'm fit enough, if my body is can do it. So how would you start mountaineering, Nordine? So first of all, I would suggest if you can maybe find an hour of time in your daily schedule and just book that for you to go out and walking. Of course, it's very depending on how fit you are, what your exercise level is, what your fitness level is, and if you have been in the mountains before, if you are well trained or not, if you're active in the sport or not. But what I would suggest you overall as a beginner, let's say you're a beginner, you're not very fit, and you just want to start, you want to stand on your first summit, I would definitely suggest find an hour in your day where you just go out and walking. And I don't talk about going upstairs, I don't know, running up steps, or go jogging, running, or anything like that. Depending on the level, okay? So this is very basic. Just go out walking, like I do right now. Put on your shoes, depending on the weather, put on the right jacket and stuff, and just go out walking. Exercise your cardiovascular system, get your system used to breathing, your heart rate and so on, and start walking. At the beginning, depending again on your fitness, you can just do very slow walks, very relaxed. And after a while, you will notice this quite fast. You will be faster at walking, okay? So at the beginning, you need like 12 minutes per kilometer walking or 13 minutes per kilometer walking. But once you do this on a regular basis, you can go longer distances and feel more comfortable. Hi. And just go for a longer distance and walk faster. You get down to 10 minutes, 9 minutes, and then you can go with a very fast pace. So you might be wondering, Nordine, why walking? What does that have to do with mountaineering? Well, quite a lot actually, because in mountaineering, you don't run up the mountain, you walk up a mountain. And in, let's say, harder mountains or more challenging mountains, of course, you have to climb. But at the beginning, you're just walking up the mountain, so you have to get used to walking, and especially walking for a long distance and a long time especially. Most summits are usually reached after a minimum of 3 hours of walking. So therefore, the super basic beginner mode entry, how to start is walking. Just walk. And if you think walking is boring, go look for a podcast, find some music you like, and just listen to the podcast, play the music, and just go out walking. Or maybe you don't even need that. You just enjoy looking around, looking at the scenery, at the landscape, being in your own thoughts. If that's you, that's also totally fine. But as I said, as a beginning, if you want to get started, walking is quite a good way actually to start. So this would probably be my first suggestion to you. And what will eventually happen is you will get stronger. Your legs get stronger, your lungs get stronger, your breathing coordination gets better, your cardiovascular system goes better. So if you just walk for a while, this will be super beneficial. Not only will it make you more durable and you can endure the hike longer, but it's also good for your health, in general, walking is very healthy. Every doctor, every physician will tell you, hey, exercising 1 hour a day or just going for a walk 1 hour a day is very good and very healthy for you. And especially if you can, after a while, increase the pace, increase the speed, and walk at a faster pace, that's even better, because that way you get in more more kilometers, and you'll be more fit and yeah, have an easier time when you climb on your first mountain. So you might ask, for quite good reason, man, Nordin, this is so stupid. It sounds stupid. I want to go on the mountains. I don't want to go on a boring walk. You know, I want to stand on a summit and see above the landscape and see how it is up there. And that's totally fine. It's totally reasonable. I get it. And what I just want to protect you from is that you go the first time on a mountain to a summit, or maybe you go with a friend to a summit, you go hiking and you feel completely exhausted. Your body is weak, your mind is weak, you're sweating all the time, you're having problems with your joints, with your knees, with your feet, you barely get air, you cannot move, you cannot walk, and you just feel very, very, very uncomfortable. And this is just one thing I want to avoid or protect you from, because that way your first mountaineering experience might be not as favorable, and you might think, man, this is such a hard work, it's so exhausting to get to a summit, it's not even worth it. And this can totally happen, and then you may not be as excited to go on a mountain, especially if it's hard to reach the summit. Okay, there's a certain and special feeling and rewarding part of climbing a hard mountain, but this is for advanced mountaineering. Okay, so let's stick to the basics. So yeah, after you're done some walking, what I would suggest you is maybe you put on some weight on your shoulders. Get a rucksack, put some weight in, maybe a little bit of food, maybe a little bit of clothing and equipment, some water, something to drink, you know, so you have a little bit of weight on your shoulders, something between, I don't know, 8 kilos, 10 kilos. Just test out what works fine for you at the beginning, and yeah, go walking with a rucksack on. And maybe you can find a route with a little bit of elevation that is going up and downhill, or maybe just a lower hill that you can go up. This would be basically the next and the second step, you know. Instead of going 1 hour out walking a normal way, you know, you go up a hilly section with a rucksack up and down. And again, listen to music, listen to a podcast if you think it's boring or you don't know what to do with your thoughts, or yeah, just enjoy nature and the landscape. It's totally fine, whatever works for you. There's no right or no wrong. Whatever works for you, just do that, just try that, and enjoy that hour of the day that is just for you, you know, doing your little exercise. Oh, by the way, and you don't have to do it alone, actually. If you want to do that with a partner, with a friend, go ahead, do that together. That's also a great way, you know. You can talk about things, you can discuss, you know, you can have a good conversation. But it's also fine to be completely alone, you know, and be sunken in your thoughts, or listen to a good podcast, because that's what I do sometimes. Depending on my mood, depending on how I feel, I listen to a podcast. I often like it to be just in my thoughts, you know, not have any noise or music on my ears, and just be alone with me and my thoughts. This is how I like it. But sometimes I'm also in the mood to have music on my ears, and that's totally fine. So yeah, after you're done that, after, let's say you did that for about 4 weeks, maybe 6 weeks, or even longer, you know, you increased the mileage, the kilometers, the distance, you increased your pace, you increased your capacity to carry a little bit of more weight. Maybe you got fitter, your muscles got stronger, your heart got stronger, your cardiovascular system got better, your lungs got more capable. This will happen naturally, okay? You just have to go out walking for an hour, or maybe even 2 if you have the time. And yeah, it has so many beneficial effects for your body, for your mind, for your physique, and for yourself. You're really doing that for yourself if you want to do that. And trust me, there are no downsides to it whatsoever, unless you slip and fall and break your ankle, or let's hope that this doesn't happen to you. So yeah, after that, let's assume you did some walking for 4 to 8 weeks, long distance, and up the hill, down the hill, a little bit with the rucksack, maybe increase even the duration per day of 1 hour or 2 hours. What I would suggest next is actually to go around and ask friends. If some of your friends knows anything about mountaineering, if they want to take you with them on a mountain and go hiking with you. This would be probably my first suggestion to you. And if you don't have any friends that are into mountaineering or that know anything about mountaineering, you can ask in forums, you can join an alpine club, a local alpine club in your region. You can go on social media, on Facebook groups, for example, ask for people there. Maybe they want to go hiking with you. Or if that's all not a possibility, there are also guides. You know, you can search for companies depending on your wallet, and maybe you find a guide, you know, that you can climb with or hike with, and they lead you to a mountain. But usually most countries have some kind of alpine club. You can become a member there and join a group. Yeah, and also Facebook is super easy, super simple. Yeah, you will definitely find people there, like-minded people there that also want to go on, that are maybe on your level or maybe even a little bit higher at the level. Maybe they have a little bit of experience already, and they can take you with you, and then you can go for your first hike. And yeah, that way you get started. That way you get a feeling for a little bit of elevation gain and climbing. So yeah, that was a suggestion for very basic mountain hiking. Just flat, let's say, mountains without scrambling, without climbing or something challenging. Let's assume you want to go actually on a more challenging mountain hike, mountain climb. You want to scramble a little bit, you know, you want to move on your all fours. The last part to the summit gets quite steep, and yeah, it requires a little bit of coordination and scrambling and climbing. So then I would definitely suggest to you to go maybe bouldering. Depending on where you live, there are some boulder classes, boulder halls, or yeah, climbing gyms near you maybe. And yeah, I would suggest go there and try bouldering. Again, it's better to go with a friend if you have a friend, or to meet with someone on a social media group or from an alpine club. Meet up with them and let them show you how it's done. Let them teach you how it's done. You know, the 3-point fixation, for example, when climbing. You know that you always have 3 fixed points when scrambling. Meaning, for example, you have 2 very good steps and 1 very good grip before you take the next grip. And then you have, again, 3 good fixtures, and then you can move 1 leg and so on. So they can explain you the basics, you know, and you can start very, very simple with the climbing and yeah, get some experience on a wall. This is definitely something I would suggest to you. Yeah, because when you go bouldering, you really learn how to control your body, how to get a feeling for your finger strength, your arm strength. So yeah, bouldering would be a super good step, you know, to go get into climbing a little bit. So one thing that is important is that if you go with a friend or with a group or with an alpine club, don't be afraid of telling the people that you're a beginner, that you're not experienced, and that this is your first time. This is actually very important, because that way they don't put you into a situation that you may not be able to handle. You know, if you tell right away at the beginning, hey guys, I'm a super beginner and I really need to start slowly. This is super important. I need to start slowly. Then they can take that into consideration, and then they can choose the right track, the right mountain, and the right path up to the summit. Because it's a super bad experience, and I can not recommend it at all to be on a trip, to be with a group. They are gonna climb a super hard mountain, or maybe a hard and challenging mountain, or a very, very, very long route that is quite technical, and you feel super uncomfortable. You are maybe physically not up to the task. You're exhausted quite too fast after 2 or 3 hours because it went steep, and you're completely drained of all your energy and your resources, and you don't enjoy it. And especially mentally and technically, if the climb is too demanding, if it's too technical and puts a lot of stress on you, and you are frightened, you're anxious, then you won't enjoy the mountain climb at all. And this is probably the worst thing that can happen, because that way you will have a negative experience connected and wired in your brain, and maybe you're not gonna even try mountaineering again, and you always will have a negative thought thinking about mountains, and you will never have the chance to actually figure out how beautiful it is, how enjoyable and how nice it is to be out there in the mountains, to be there, to feel your heart beating, to be slightly, let's say, physically stressed, but in a positive way. Okay, so yeah, then maybe that experience gets ruined for you, you know, and that would not be ideal. So even though that is not a satisfying answer, because it involves or requires that you train a little bit beforehand, that you invest like 2 months of training, of walking and with the rucksack and so on. But trust me, this is this is the conservative way to do it, but maybe in the long run the more enjoyable way for you, and that way you can actually enjoy nature, because otherwise you will be completely focused on you, on your body, and keeping up with the group, and you won't enjoy the hike at all, and that would not be a good first experience. After that, after you climbed, let's say, your first quite or slightly more challenging mountain, more challenging summit, what I would suggest you to do next is to do more of that. You know, with every summit, with every mountain, you gain more experience. You get a feeling for the whole environment, for the weather, for the situation, for navigating. Even though if you're not responsible or in charge of the whole climb, but you can look at others, how they behave, how they observe certain situations. You can ask maybe the one that is actually guiding or leading the team or the group why they decide which way to go, why they decide which route to take, and how they observe the weather or how they interpret the weather. So yeah, this would probably the next step into advancing in mountaineering, is just go out and do some tours, and yeah, get some mountains, get some summits under your belt. Yeah, just go out, enjoy it, you know, easy mountains, a little bit harder mountains, more scrambling, less scrambling, every time a little bit more exposure. And what I always used to do is I chose summits next, or my next goal was always a summit that was a little bit out of range of my possibilities. So my next goal was always a mountain I could barely not climb yet, or that exceeded my skills, and that way I got better every bit. But you don't have to do it like that. You can just go for, let's say, the same level for quite a while and gather some experience. For me personally, I wanted to develop very fast. I wanted to become a better mountaineer as soon as possible, exceed my limits, exceed my weaknesses, and improve extremely fast. So therefore I chose, you know, I had to push my boundaries every time, and I had to move my limits, my borders. So that's what I did. But that's not necessary, because it's a very taxing and exhausting way of mountaineering and of learning, and maybe it's not the ideal form. I don't know about that, but I'll just let you know how I did it. But yeah, you can go more relaxed about it, and just, yeah, as I said, get some summits under your belt. This is quite a good way to go. Depending on how fast your development is and how much time and effort you put into this, you will notice that you eventually develop quite fast, that you get stronger, that you get more safe and more used to the climbing. You get faster, your body gets stronger, and also with the scrambling, you know, you feel more secure, you feel more used, and maybe it comes easy and natural to you. So in that case, if you want to advance in mountaineering, I would probably suggest to look for groups that are more advanced, or look for friends, or search people that are on a higher level than you are and that do that kind of stuff that you would like to do. This is of course always if you don't want to go solo, okay? What I'm talking about now is completely always with a group, with a partner, and not solo. Maybe I will talk about solo mountaineering in another video, another episode. Let me know if you want to know more about solo climbing and how to go or get into solo climbing and how to prepare for that. But this is really just if you're walking and moving with a group and always together with someone else. All right, there's a lot of reasons to do that, safety reasons, and yeah, so therefore all what I'm talking about here is in a group and not solo mountaineering. So yeah, as I said, look for someone who is more experienced than you, who knows what they're doing, and maybe they do the stuff already that you would like to do. Try to find them, connect with them, again, in the Alpine Club, on social media, or maybe already in the hiking group that you've been, you know, maybe you spotted one guy or person or girl that is quite experienced and advanced in mountaineering. Talk to them and ask them, hey, can you teach me? Can you show me how it's done? Therefore, you will go bouldering again with this person. You try more intense and harder boulders. Maybe you go top rope climbing. You can therefore try a climbing course where they teach you how to climb top rope, or maybe how to start climbing in the first place, how to put on a harness, how to use a rope, how to use bolts and friends and expressions. And do you say expressions? What is the English word for exe? I have to check. I'll write it in the video. But again, find people, ask a friend, or maybe book a course where they can teach you how to climb with proper climbing gear, and then you can learn how climbing with climbing gear actually works. And that way, in the future, with your buddy, partner, climbing partner, or the group, you know how it's done, and you can do some technical climbing that maybe is so exposed that you actually need a rope and has proper scrambling involved. So, all right. After that, usually, it could be that at that point, you know, you're completely satisfied already. You like it. The rock climbing, that's more than enough. You don't need more. Also, you don't need the cold temperatures. That's totally fine, and you feel quite happy with just scrambling in rocky surfaces, rocky mountains, and yeah, have a great time. And if that's enough, that's totally fine. What happened to me eventually was when I was standing on 3,000 the mountains, 3,500 in the Alps, I was looking over to the higher summits, the snow-capped mountains, the white summits. They were completely covered in snow and glaciers, big, huge glaciers were at the bottom of these mountains. And I personally felt like, wow, I want to stand on a mountain like that. I want to know how it is in the ice. I want to move across a glacier, and I want to stand on a snow-capped mountain, a white summit, and I want to use an ice axe. I want to use a crampon. I want to see how it is to move between glaciers and crevasses, and maybe even do ice climbing. So if you also experience that when you're standing on a 3,000 meter mountain, or when you're looking over to mountains with glaciers and ice caps, well then, welcome to the party. This is where the real mountaineering starts. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, actually that was what happened to me. But I definitely knew, okay, climbing on mountains that involves crossing a glacier, walking on a glacier, using crampons and ice axe, and being in the snow, it's a completely different game. This is a completely different level of mountaineering, and this requires way more preparation, caution, training, and especially risk management. And yeah, I'll tell you more about that in the next video. All right, that's it for today. I hope you liked it. Please leave me your feedback. If you like the explanation, if I was missing something, if you want further clarification on something, or maybe if you have critical feedback, maybe also let me know. You know, I'm very, very open, and always open for improvement. Yeah, one very important aspect I would ask you to respect when you go into the mountains. You know, we are guests there in the mountains, in the nature. It's a gift that we can go there, that we can see the beauty and enjoy the mountains, but it's still a natural habitat. Animals are living there, and nature is fragile, as we all know. So please, if you bring any kind of bottles, waste, trash, and even if it's just a banana peel or whatever it is, you know, you were able to carry it up the mountain, so you should also be able to carry it down the mountain, especially after consuming or eating or drinking whatever you had. It's even lighter. Just bring some kind of plastic bag and bring back your trash down from the mountain. Really, it's very, very important, because the mountains are just so beautiful and nice, and the experience is so awesome, because the mountains are clean, the environment is protected, and we don't litter and trash it up. So please, if you go to the mountain, be reasonable. Don't leave your trash there, don't leave your waste there. Take everything with you, and the rule number one should be there should be no trace of you that you have been on the mountain. This is really the best or the ideal situation. If you went into the mountains, no one should actually be able to recognize or to see or to notice that you have been there. This is the best visitor in the mountains that doesn't leave any traces, any trash, or any impact on the environment. And yeah, please make sure to consider that. The mountains are very, very beautiful. They are here for everyone. Everyone can experience them, but they will only be as beautiful as we protect them. So yeah, therefore, whatever you bring up there, please bring it down again. All right, thank you so much. Bye bye. I'll do my training now. Talk to you later or tomorrow. Good. So today is day 9 of my training. I thought this time I'm switching it up. First of all, I'm talking about a topic, and after the topic, I'll talk about my little training progression right now. As you guys, as you guys or guys and girls, but guys also includes girls, right? No, it doesn't matter. As you may have noticed, or maybe you know, I'm in my Mount Everest training, and yeah, I'm just walking, right? The thing that I just suggested to you. Look at this. Here, I'm in southern Spain, in Andalusia, and all I'm doing is walking. I'm not running, I'm not climbing, I'm not bouldering, I'm not exercising. I'm just walking like a lazy ass. Yeah, so I'm still in recovery and regeneration phase. Last week was quite intense after my injury, 70 kilometers of distance. My legs, especially my, how do you say, thighs, they are like burning a lot still. I think I might have overdone it a little bit, so I still need some regeneration. Yesterday I did a very, very slow jogging session, which was good for regeneration, but I think I should have gone slower. It was a little bit too intense for my muscles, so they actually is sending me the signals, hey, please slow down, we need more regeneration. Which is annoying for me, because you can imagine I want to climb Everest in May, so I want to go all out, but that's not how it works. My body sets the pace and the rules, and if my body says, hey, I'm too fatigued, I need more time for recovery, I have to listen to that, even though I don't like it and I would like to progress faster and further, but I have to listen to my body. That's it. All right, so therefore I'm walking, only walking today, no jogging, no nothing. I'll do my exercises, and that's it for today. See how it goes tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow, if we can walk or run, we will go for a run. If we only can do exercises or, I don't know, muscle training or swimming, I'll switch to that. But yeah, that's it for me so far. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna do my exercises as usual, even though I don't like them. And yeah, talk to you guys tomorrow, where I explain to you how to get started with glacier mountain climbing and how to actually go on 4,000+ meter mountains.